Hi everyone, it's Shari Carroll here, back to show you some tips and tricks with the Studio Calico June kit. I thought I'd show you some really fun ways to work with your chipboard, and there's several sets of chipboard in both the kit and some of the add-ons. So I've done some dry embossing with my chipboard to create the sentiment for this card. In the main June kit, there's a great package of American Crafts thickers, and these are great letters, and there's several letters on the back side, including some numbers. So what I've done here is I've put my letters onto a piece of plastic, and I get these from my cling set, and I've also cut a couple pieces of paper that I'm going to be using for my sentiment. So what I have here is my letters, and I have them stacked how I want them. But I want to kind of readjust my H and my E to cut off that extra tail so that this all sits flat. So I'm just going to peel this off, and here you can't see out of screen, but I put my E on top of my H, and what I'll do is I'll just run a little pencil line just on the edge there, and then now I can clip off the extra tail from the H. So here I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors because they cut through absolutely anything. And I'll go ahead and clip that off, and now I can readjust my words onto my piece of plastic just the way I want them to emboss on my paper. So next I'll go through and show you some of the tools that you're going to need to do some dry embossing. Here I've cut a mouse pad in half. I want to use both layers because this is a really thin mouse pad. You can also get thicker type mouse pads as well. I also have some painter's tape to hold everything in place. So I'm working on my platform for my Big Shot, and I'm just kind of taping my plastic down so it doesn't shift, and here's my piece of paper, and I will set this on top because the word hello will come through to the front as it's written. So to keep everything in place, I also like to put a little hinge, as I call it, and go ahead and use my painter's tape and tape down my paper. So again, I'm using just the platform right now from my Big Shot. And I'll turn this to go the other way because I want the motion to go along with the tape that I've just added for my hinge. Next I'll be putting both layers of my mouse pad down, and then one of the plates to go on top. And now I can just run this through my Big Shot. And the mouse pad acts as a nice little buffer, and then so all the words or all the areas will come through and be dry embossed. So I'll go ahead and peel my mouse pad off and show you how this looks. It's kind of hard to see on screen, but now you can kind of see where there's the raised edge of the letters. So what I want to do next is use a sanding block, and I get just a regular drywall sanding block from the hardware store, and I'm going to just start buffing this to expose the white inner core of the paper. So as you can see, my word is starting to pop out, and I have just used a really soft motion with the sanding block, but there is my hello, just perfect. And now I still have my letters on the back side that I can still use for another project. So I'll go ahead and peel this off, and now I can attach it to my card. So here's another look at my card that I finished, and I've just done some color blocking with other pattern papers around my words and have finished it off by adding some buttons and some stamping and some other chipboard. Another fun way of using your chipboard is just to create some texture to a card, and here I've used strips of chipboard just to get some embossed strips, and it kind of reminds me of a locker, like the little vents of a locker. So for this card, I've used these strips that are on this great My Mind's Eye chipboard set, and I'm just using the chipboard set as my guide, and I'm adding the strips back in place just how they were on the whole sheet. So this is My Mind's Eye by Rana Farah, and that's from the Santa Monica add-on kit number 1. I've cut a piece of craft paper, and now I can just kind of line this up by flipping over my piece of plastic. And once I have that lined up, I can go ahead and add my painter's tape to keep this in place from shifting when I go to do my embossing. So here I have my plastic with my chipboards put onto my platform. I've put my mouse pad down and again the one plate, and I'm running this through my Big Shot. And once I've run that through, now you can really see how well that embosses onto the craft paper. So I won't be doing any other treatments to this, so I can just go ahead and pop this off. And again, I have my other chipboard that I can reuse for another project. Here's another look at my card. I've used my embossed craft piece as my focal point and added some banners and some letters, and also reused one of the chipboard strips for my main message. And here's an up-close look at how everything comes together. I hope I've inspired you to use your chipboard in a whole nother way by doing some dry embossing. Thanks for watching.